Hey everybody, this is Eric from Sensory Dad, and if you don't know, Leo and I are out here in Colorado. So basically what preempted this trip to Colorado is that the pandemic was fine. We were doing okay at home. When we were doing remote schooling, it was challenging like it was for everybody, but we kind of managed through it. There was like a lot of assignments at home and everything, and we would complete the tasks and get them done, and then just hand them in. And that was kind of a good, method for basically all three of the kids. They could knock out their work in the morning, and by lunchtime, they had free time to just run and be crazy like they are. The problem came whenever we went to like a hybrid school, and to where a lot of the days that they were spending at home were on iPads. And you know that it's truly challenging whenever you increase the screen time. We're very rigid with the screen time. The kids have to earn every bit of screen time they get in our house with either chores, tasks around the house, physical activity, workouts, or just great behavior. And that's the only way they can get on an iPad, the Switch, or the Xbox, or any of those, the Oculus, the games of that nature. So what kind of happened was they go to the virtual schooling. So we got the kids set up, and we've got 3 iPads running. And it was about, I don't know, anywhere from 5 to 6.5 hours a day of just being glued to a screen. And you could really tell the shift in basically, the behavior and the short temper and the fuse shortened and everything. Kind of got to the point where the 3 years that I had taken off now, and whether I was doing consulting or whatever, I was basically in the house almost all the time, either working or being with the kids 99% of the time. Still didn't help. It was almost like we hit the reset button on the behavior for Leo, back to the days where, it was really, really difficult for the entire family, just to kind of jump over every obstacle that came up every couple minutes. So Jen and I talked, and God bless her, she really digs into finding solutions. So we were trying all kind of different things. We tried all of the tactics that we had employed, in the prior 3 years, and limited results. It just wasn't where it needed to be. We weren't seeing progress anymore. Matter of fact, we were seeing regression in most cases. And, it almost was getting to a breaking point. It's like, do we pull him out of school? Because half the time he would go, and because the other half of the time he was home on that iPad so often, the behavior at school was kind of spiraling. We have great support at the school. Mr. E and the teachers that help out, and the principal have been fantastic with dealing with Leo's issues, and helping us through it and working together as a team. But it still just was to no avail. So what we did was I didn't, believe me, I don't get any of the credit for this. She did a lot of research into any kind of therapies, and globally, that really focused on the sensory processing disorder. And lo and behold, she found this institute in Colorado, which is where I'm coming to you from. So obviously we took that route. The Star Institute, the staff and everything, if you get a chance to look at their website, it's pretty absurd to read the resumes of the therapist and the director, Virginia. It is outstanding. It's almost one of those cases where like, why in the heck isn't this person filthy rich? And why are they doing this job? Like, because the knowledge, I think Virginia went to Oxford, and her resume is just a mile long of things that I couldn't even imagine trying to learn or do. And she has been really great. We just finished week 1 at the Star Institute, and it's a different world. So when Jen and I came out, we drove 21 hours straight out here to Denver. And thankfully the insurance is covering it, because we didn't want to like sell the house. Like it's kind of expensive for me to live here for 6 weeks. You know, so we got an Airbnb. We drove 21 hours out here. We've done a bunch of adventurous things with him to kind of keep his mind occupied because he is bored every minute you're not doing something. I mean, it's constant motion. He is a seeker, you know, a sensory seeker, as you guys know, seeking contact, deep pressure feedback, seeking activity, seeking movement. So far, you know, the initial sit down with them, the only analogy that I could use whenever we were trying to explain this to people back home was, imagine that all the therapy sessions that we've done over the years, and a lot of you guys that have followed us know that there's an exorbitant amount of therapy sessions in places we've gone in Pennsylvania and the surrounding areas. Imagine that you needed to borrow a car, and you gave me a laundry list, and all I could do was tell you, okay, it's a car. Here you go. Here's your car. And I had no details about it. And that's basically where we're at. Oh, okay, it's a car. You know, so the response is, well, what kind of car? And I would say, well, it's got a motor and it runs. And you're just like, I told you what I needed. You know what I mean? It's more complicated than a vehicle that is roadworthy. Like, you really need to help me out. And the therapists in Pennsylvania, the doctors in Pennsylvania, most of them had to research what the hell sensory processing disorder was to even deal with Leo. And then what would happen is there wasn't enough data out there to formulate therapy ideas or anything. So we would just go, well, it's kind of like autism, but not. So we'll employ some of those things. Or it's kind of like ADD, so we'll just, you know, we'll do some stuff that's related to that. Or it's kind of like this. Or we see these symptoms in him that are like the symptoms of this other, you know, diagnosis. And we're just going to go that route. And we'll just work in a holistic fashion that if we do enough stuff to combat all the problems that we're seeing, eventually it'll work out. Well, you know, whenever you get the variables of, like I said, the massive amounts of screen time, the wear a mask this week, don't wear a mask this next week, and all the different things that happen with the pandemic that we'd all, you know, all families that I've ever met have struggled with, it wasn't working. So this place sits us down, and our intake with, the girl's name is Kayla, did our intake, and there was another assistant of hers sitting there, and it was just crazy to hear the breakdown of the seven senses, you know, the regular senses, and then the interoceptive. I mean, I'm rambling a little bit here because I was so overwhelmed with their understanding of this diagnosis that Jen and I were just, I mean, she had tissues, you know what I mean? It was really, it was really eye-opening, you know, because it's like having a rare disease, you know, and I don't say it like, you know, we're getting it fixed, but, and he is a functional, he's an amazing kid, but it's like having some rare condition that nobody knows, and then Dr. House walks in and says some crazy stuff to you and completely understands where you're going and is like, I can make this better. I mean, the depth with my analogy with the car is, they're like, it is a Cadillac Escalade 2022. It's got heated seats. It's got, like, it was like a laundry list from the dealership telling you all the things you don't even understand about a vehicle, as compared to, well, we can do some stuff that might help them. So it was eye-opening to see their understanding of this. I don't know if any of them have personal experience with this. I mean, I could, without divulging any of their stuff that they told us personally, there are people within their organization that have dealt with this directly with their own children or themselves. And it's just, it was mind-blowing to see their understanding. Their complex is pretty ridiculous. It's a pretty good-sized building. I won't say it's a massive skyscraper or anything, but they have basically every apparatus or toy or kind of thing that we've ever read in the hundreds of articles and books and websites and stuff that we've followed, excuse me, that could possibly help a child with sensory issues, whether it's a seeker or avoider. I mean, they pinged Leo after a couple sessions of just hanging out 100% to everything I could have written a book about, and handed them just a 10-chapter book about my son, and they knew it like that. It was almost instantaneous. They're like, I can see that this and that and this and that and this is an issue. This isn't an issue. Creativity is off the charts, and intelligence is off the charts, but concentration might be lacking. Self-esteem might be. It knocked my socks off. It was after like 3 days that I was 100% convinced that if I had to pay for this out of pocket, or if I had to move to Colorado, I would do it in a second. So really, we're really hopeful. Week 1, the analysis and the intake and all that kind of stuff, and it's an outpatient thing. I should get into that too. So it just really was amazing to see just the play, just the different things, and then you don't understand. It just looks like you're just like on a giant jungle gym in some cases, in some of the therapy sessions, and you're just like going crazy and having a good time and playing. But there is a scientific idea and method behind every single thing that they're doing. It's very impressive. So here's a scenario. So typically a kid will be in this therapy. They could be in there 2 months, 6 months, a year, whatever. But it's an extensive, it's an extensive process that they go through, and start to finish and everything, and even continue therapy. So they know that, we're 2,000 miles away. So that's a little bit of, trouble. And they know our issues with screen time and everything like that, and our attention span. So virtual is really not even in the realm. Not even, a consideration. So they're like, we'd love to work with them. Sounds like a very interesting case. We know we can help. And that's really all you want to hear, from a motivation standpoint of your therapist is, I know I can help. And they're selling you on helping. And it's not like our insurance is any different than from any insurance this place is stacked with kids. It's not like they're hurting for business. They're just like, I know we can do it. So, making it happen was paramount for us. Now, I could tell you that I'm just very thankful to see this process going on. After a week, he has bought in. He's loving it. He's like, when do we get to go again? And doing 2-a-days. So normally it's like an 8 in the morning, which I'm not, I'm 44. So me getting out of bed and getting to a gym at 8 in the morning and jumping around like a gymnast and just playing hide and go seek and stuff like that, not really something a 44-year-old man, is excited about, but I'm excited about it. It's seeing his growth. I know it's only been like 5 days, right? But seeing his growth already is just crazy. Him leading in activities and really enjoying his time. The immediate bonds that were happening with the different therapists that we've worked with. Just really excited about the process. Now, I'll keep you guys updated. I know that, from talking to the director, she's like, he's doing great. It's really good to see this fast of progress in a student, and it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better, and it's funny because it's almost like what I went through in basic training, eons ago, to where we're going to break him down to his basic components and all the things that have been detrimental to him concerning prior treatments or therapies that didn't work, or school issues, or sibling issues, or whatever, or the things that we just did as parents thinking we were doing great and we weren't. And I admittedly, we've tried everything, so 90% of the stuff we tried was wrong and probably messed them up a little bit, but we're trying our best. So seeing all this go down, like I said, in basic training, you're reduced down to your human being basic status. And then you're built up with these concepts that are just paramount in making your recovery, or not so much of recovery, but your development to become fully functional and to be able to cope with anger issues and frustration issues and patience. And I mean, crap, this stuff might actually help me, because I am not patient and I still have anger issues, and I'm, you know, probably a 20-year-old kid trapped in a 44-year-old man's body, just with a lot of aches and pains. So a lot of credit to my wife. She has been fantastic through this. Couldn't have done any of this without her. Just having the foresight to just keep attacking. You know, I can attack as much as I want, but I'm doing it on what I know, which is getting him physically involved in sports and, you know, nutrition and reading and math, and having the curriculum in place that he becomes a smarter, stronger, better child, and soon to be a, you know, a great man, you know, in the long run. But I'm not attacking what's up here. You know, I'm not attacking what's in here so much as this place will. And I'm just really thankful that we have this, you know, this opportunity. If you guys have any questions, leave comments. I really appreciate the people that have subscribed to the channel. Really recommend this place. I mean, it's, like I said, we've got 6 weeks of double sessions. And if there's enough, or there's not enough, you know, progress, we'll come back. You know, we'll make it happen. I mean, I really, truly believe that this is really going to help them. So, like I said, thanks, guys, for listening. And if I can do anything to help you guys that have similar issues, please reach out. Thanks.